Yeah, everybody in the house basically was killed. Everybody. We started a case in the Netherlands, a civil case. The idea was to scratch the wall of impunity. You lose, you win, that's nothing, but it should be done. It's a fight that you have to fight. You never lose the hope. The hope lies in the fight, in the resistance.
It is a big moment in this war and a dark one in the history of Israel. For the first time, the Jewish state in the world's court facing charges of genocide.
My name is Ismail Ziada. I'm a Palestinian refugee. I was born and raised in the Bureij refugees camp in the Gaza Strip. I started a case against two Israeli military commanders here in The Hague for war crimes committed against my family in 2014.
The fact that South Africa took this step to bring this case of genocide against Israel is something that will have a great damage to Israel and their allies. People really, they are thirsty for justice. They want to see Israel, held to account.
No doubt one of the lead stories today is South Africa and Israel getting ready to face each other in the International Court of Justice.
It is not a war of words between South Africa and Israel. It is an international matter that South Africa feels strong that it has to be adjudicated or be handled by international systems. The DG Zain Dango arriving there, you can see them with the South African regalia. DG, how are you? Is the team ready? Is the team ready, DG? DG, are you ready? You can see the DG and the sponsor.
The court meets today to hear the oral observations of the parties submitted by the Republic of South Africa in the case concerning application of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in the Gaza Strip.
The genocidal rhetoric is also commonplace within the Israeli Knesset. Members of the Knesset have repeatedly called for Gaza to be wiped out, flattened, erased, and crushed. The woman is an enemy, the baby is an enemy, the pregnant woman is an enemy. That it is necessary to turn the strip into a slaughterhouse, exterminate everyone. The intentional failure of the government of Israel to condemn, prevent, and punish such genocidal incitement constitutes in itself a grave violation of the Genocide Convention.
Now we are next to the International Court of Justice as Palestinians, and supporters from all over Europe, they are here, to show solidarity for Palestine and Gaza. Outside the court, supporters of Israel, they are allowed to be in front of the court. It's incomprehensible that they allowed the supporters of Israel to be in front of the court, where everybody can see them, even there are very few in numbers, and the Palestinians be relegated to this area. It's nowhere, next to the court. We as Palestinians know that genocide and ethnic cleansing have been committed against us since 1947. So this is what makes this day special. Especially it's in the same time that the genocide is going on in Gaza. At this moment, as we are speaking, the attention of the world is all now on The Hague and what's happening in Gaza and Palestine. We don't know what the outcome will be. A negative judgment, it will be a blow even, to the already discredited international law framework to help humanity or whatsoever,
Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine! Netanyahu terrorist! Netanyahu terrorist! Netanyahu terrorist!
الاثنين البرلمانيين الأيسلنديين
بشوفوا على اوكي
Thank you, South Africa. We're grateful.
Bravo et merci. Bravo l'Afrique du Sud. Bravo.
Thank you very much. We believe that without the intervention of this court, of the international community, we will see the total destruction of the Palestinian people in Gaza. Remaining silent in the face of this, in and of itself, will be a gross violation of international law. Palestine has expressed grave concern over the international system incapability to prevent acts of genocide against its people and has urgently called for actions to halt such acts.
هسه لقيتها معنا يعني الماء قبل امتى في 18/12 احنا قدمنا القضيه على المحكمه الاوروبيه يعني مستمرين بالاخر يعني لسه شغالي نستنى بالرد تبعهم يعني. هو قرار المحكمة العليا كان كتير إجرامي يعني
بس ما هو يعني. هي هذه اللي خلت يعني كل فكرة اليوم كمية الاعتراف بالجريمة لأنه مش سائل لأنه له 75 سنة مش سائل
صحيح.
قال أنا هالمرة حاعترف حقول شو ناوي أعمل وما حتعملوا لي شيء وهذا اللي اللي كان لهم دور بقضيتك جزء من هاي المنظومة.
صحيح.
These are the documents of the papers of the case that were served to the European Courts of Human Rights.
The case was related to the bombing of my family house on the 20th of July 2014. In that attack, I mean, my family residential building was destroyed completely, and in that attack, I mean, they killed my mother, my 3 brothers, and my nephew of 12, and my sister-in-law.
Israel says it's hitting terrorist sites that Hamas uses civilians as human shields. These doctors just know that once again they're treating numbers of children and the elderly.
Yeah, I mean, that was almost 2 weeks in the aggression against Gaza, and our days basically here. I mean, you are glued to the screen, and so that was the daily life. And all of a sudden, my niece in Bureij sending me this message saying something happened to your house, and my brother Saad was trying to call, and I was sitting like, what's happening? And then I heard him screaming, nobody picking up the light. The phone, I mean, nobody's responding, and I tried to call myself too from here, and no response, and yeah, I stayed and felt something happened. Yeah, everybody in the house basically was killed. My mother and my 3 brothers, Jamil, Yusuf, and Omar, and my sister-in-law Bayan, and my nephew Shaban, who was 12 years old at the time, and the guest who was in the house. We started a case in the Netherlands, a civil case against 2 top Zionist military commanders, Benny Gantz and Amir Icho, and the Israelis, they challenged that the Netherlands does not have jurisdiction to rule on this case, and the Dutch judges decided that they really don't have jurisdiction over that because of immunity. So the Israeli war criminals, they have enjoyed immunity. The idea was to scratch the wall of impunity. It was just legally speaking that you can bring an Israeli in front of an European court, and this would have opened the door for other people to do the same. That was the motivation, that you have to fight it. It's an act of resistance, and it's not about winning or losing. It's about not giving up. But the Dutch system failed us miserably, and cowardly too. They were cowards. And again, I don't forgive them. I don't forgive them at all.
On the second and final day of the hearings at the UN's highest court, Israel has called on judges at the International Court of Justice to throw out the case brought by South Africa, alleging that it commits genocide in Gaza.
Were it the case, which we deny, that Israeli forces have transgressed some of the rules of conflict, then the matter will be tackled at the appropriate time by Israel's robust and independent legal system. The IDF is the most moral army in the world. The IDF does everything to avoid harming the uninvolved.
Liar! 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 Liar!
We move.
Yeah. But it's nice to have a flag a bit. Oh. It's so amazing, like that suddenly your story became, I don't know how you feel about it, but it's so aligned like with the...
Yeah, it is part of what we arrived to. I mean, that European courts failed Palestinians miserably, I mean, all the time. And I think the judges, they need to feel the brunt of it, that they have the blood of Palestinian children in their hands. But it's good that this is happening, and I see people from Gaza to receive the news. All the Facebook yesterday, thanks South Africa, and it's in the tents, I mean. So I have brothers in the tents there in Rafah, I mean, so...
Genocidal intent? Let me turn to the IDF. Attacks will be solely directed towards military targets, while adhering to the principles of distinction, proportionality, and the obligation taking precautions in attacks in order to reduce collateral damage.
How could it be kind of justice, I mean, to call your loved one that killed collateral damage? That's very brutal and cruel. I mean, one of my cousins, I mean, he was killed with everybody. And my sister-in-law, I mean, she was with her children, with her family, and her family house got bombed in Bureij, and she was killed, and together with my nephew, who was 20 months old. It was just shocking when you think about it, and then you come this, it was not intentional, or I don't know.
Of course, the much anticipated International Court of Justice will today deliver their judgment on that case between South Africa as well as Israel. The world is watching this ruling with bated breath.
The court considers that Israel must, in accordance with its obligations under the Genocide Convention, in relation to Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention. The court notes that the military people...
Looks positive, huh?
The court concludes, on the basis of the aforementioned considerations, that the conditions required by its statute for it to indicate provisional measures are met. It is therefore necessary, pending its final decision, for the court to indicate certain measures in order to protect the rights claimed by South Africa that the court has found to be plausible.
No ceasefire.
The court may affirm. As the court has no further business, I declare the sitting closed.
There is no ceasefire. They're not ordering ceasefire, so that's disappointing. That's the most important and urgent, I mean, measure they needed to take. I mean, they watered it down, as we say.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
The legal road, I mean, it's a side. It's not in the main fight. Yes, the Zionists, they can hurt us, they can kill us, they can cause us indescribable pain and sorrow, but they should make no mistake that they will never ever be able to break us. And our fight for freedom will continue, generation after generation after generation, with one aim: Palestine free, free of Zionism, free of racism, free of oppression, of ethnic cleansing. That's our Palestine that we are fighting for, and we are continuing to fight for it.